Epa, Super Saiyan chicos and chicas. How are you guys doing today? I'm back. And I got swimmer's ear, so it's annoying. So my right ear, I can barely hear. And I've been using like this drops for it. So hopefully it gets better. And this is my first video being back. You guys will see it probably like on Saturday. And yeah. So today we're gonna be checking out the male loneliness epidemic. I saw this and I wanted to review it. I also saw Asman go do a review. So I was gonna watch his video, but his video is a whole hour long. So I'm like, that's too much. Anyway, this is Shoe on Head. Check her out. She has made some videos that let me like her by the way. That I thought were good. So that's why I want to review this one. So make sure you check her out. Probably even first before watching my video, I would say stop watching, go check her out, then watch my reaction to it. I think that's the best way. Yeah, do that if you guys don't mind. Anyway, let's go into it.
I regret to inform you, the men are not okay. That's right, folks. The men are not okay.
Wait, why?
The men have no friends, no girlfriend, no college education, no money, are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones to be a few inches taller, and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their pornography addiction.
Alright, I didn't know about the AI Batman. I'm gonna have to check that out. But I don't know about the like if every man feel like they have less friends and stuff like that. I think that's kind of ridiculous. If you're not able to find friends or try to find friends, there's a lot of people you will eventually have things in common with. I'm not saying that it's impossible, or I mean like, let me rephrase that. I'm not saying that it's super easy. What I'm trying to say is not impossible. But I did see, I think it was on Facebook, Instagram, I don't know where, the guy that broke his leg to get taller. That whole tall shit. Like, guys, grow up. Like, don't bother. You're not supposed to change for a woman. Like, if all the women that you see in social media are looking for 6 feet or 6'5" foot people, just be yourself. You eventually, your confidence and you being yourself will eventually attract women instead of changing and molding yourself to someone. That's how I did. I'm 5'2". Never broke my legs. Or 5'4". I don't know what I always say 5'2".
You deserve real love.
Turns out the society that was built by and allegedly for men has indeed let them down. Now you might be thinking, oh look, another boo-hoo poor men video by Shoe on Head.
Yeah, boo-hoo.
Yes. And if you have a problem with that, tune into literally anything else.
Alright, let's go watch something else. She already told us to tune into something else. I'm kidding, let's go.
Men are in a crisis and
you should not be drinking Monster. It's a lot of sugar. Alright, I'm kidding, alright. Well, I'm not kidding.
it seems nobody really cares. And the people who do care just seem like the people who want to sell them shit. Not me. I'm different. So before we get into this,
I'm pretty sure she's referring to like Andrew Tate and stuff like that. Like the Discord server, how they take advantage of a lonely man. I think that's what she means.
let's quickly get into today's sponsor.
Alright, let's go listen to the sponsor.
Today's sponsor is Holzgern. Holzgern is a young Austrian company that designs unique crafted watches and jewelry made from all natural materials. Their high-quality timepieces come in various designs for both men and women, making them the perfect gift for any occasion. They're a great blend of function and fashion, and overall I just think they look very classy, especially the men's watch collection. I was pretty impressed with the silver casing and blue marble dial of the Naturalist watch, which made for a great gift for my boyfriend. He especially loved the casual yet stylish appearance, making it an ideal choice to wear both at work and at home. I'm also really happy with the watch I picked out. It's made from black and white marble and features a nice black leather bracelet that just feels so comfy. They also create elegantly crafted earrings, very unique handbags, sunglasses, and necklaces, like this rose marble elevation necklace. It makes a really memorable and unique gift for a loved one. All of their products have a 24-month warranty, and ordering online is super easy,
right, 2
with
years.
free shipping to the US and most EU countries within 2 to 5 days. So if you want to get yourself a good quality watch and support the channel, I highly recommend checking out their store and clicking the link in the description below. Use my special code SHOE15 at checkout that will give you 15% off for all products store-wide. So go to the link down below and choose your own unique piece of nature. Thank you, Holzgren, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, as always, for not skipping the ad.
No problem. Hey, I know you gotta make money. I got you. You guys, if you guys like watches, I guess check it out. I'm not into watch, so I'm not gonna really check it out or into any of that. I'm not really materialistic. It's just my nature. But I do play video games.
Why are men and boys struggling? And what should we do about it?
A few new studies have come out that have shown that young men are more lonely and single than ever before. But it's not just men. The women and children, too. It's predicted 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. But according to the media, this is a good thing. The she-economy is booming, as they say. And meanwhile, men being single is treated like this.
New study explains why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
Some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right. Yeah, men, stop listening to that derogatory music.
They're so stupid. It has nothing to do with the music. It's more on the way that, you know, mainstream media, and I don't know about mainstream because I don't really watch mainstream media, but it has a lot to do with how social media has portrayed guys, and everything is like everyone is against men right now because they want to be the equality thing. And I could tell you guys that if you guys have watched some of my old videos that I mentioned, like I am all for women defending themselves. Like I feel like a woman should work like my girlfriend works. A woman should be in an equal footing as men, but to a certain extent. Like equal footing is like you're with your girlfriend or wife and you guys are a team. That's what I feel like is an equal footing. Like you guys are a team, you guys work together, you guys could have disagreement, but then you still have to come up with, you know, a decision together. It's not one person decide for the other all the time type of thing, which is what happened in the old day. And that's kind of like my mentality about it. But it doesn't mean like, oh, woman is the same as a man. So what happened is like women already were elevated. Like for a guy to, even in the past, to find a girlfriend, they had to impress her, get her gifts, show that they could provide. If a woman could provide 100% for themselves and do basically everything that a man used to be able to do for a woman, except obviously procreate, unless they go to a sperm bank or whatever, the other shit they do, then what is the value of a man? So that's where social media, and if I'm not mistaken, TikTok itself, Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called now, Facebook, Instagram, even though that's in the old day, that's the old age, but it's still, people do still, like I still go through it, and me even YouTube, have put guys so down that it's like the expectation for a woman, like women nowadays are, they're only focused on not only themselves, but they don't mind, like, again, I'm jumping everywhere, so I'm not even focusing on one thing, but not only do they have an expectation for a man to be like certain height, make certain amount, look a certain way, but then they're like women that don't even care about themselves. They exposing their whole body on OnlyFans, for example, or they're on Instagram taking a lot of pictures that make them look like whores, to be honest. And then, but they want these men that are, you know, the hardest one to find. There are these perfect men. So then a lot of the men that are not in that category, they're not perfect, they have a hard time to even talk to a girl. And that's what kind of happens. I might be wrong. You guys could throw in the comment section what you guys think, but that's kind of like my opinion on it.
then maybe you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and women being single and lonely kind of shows there might be something wrong with society. Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles, I love how that's my source, I read about it on the internet, research shows that people from individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift towards white-collar jobs, and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness. In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the hikikomori.
I didn't know that Japan was suffering that. Because Japan is very traditional, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm kind of surprised.
Okay. Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society, secluding themselves in their rooms for months and years at a time. In 2010, there was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan. And today, it's estimated to be about 1.55 million. And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with eye contact. And
that sounds creepy as shit.
Reintegrate them back into society. So basically, if you want to know America's future, look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology.
And I do, and we're gonna listen to what she, her opinion about it. But I want to add that the thing is with social media, which is supposed to connect us all, and it just makes it even more distant, is because not only do you get a different persona on social media, and then in real life you're probably like not that persona, you're probably a loser or whatever the case may be, and you know, makes you struggle too. But also on social media, there's been push. Actually, recently there was I think it was on TikTok, where they showed a woman when they gave her a wedding ring, and they show her like cleaning and doing all these hard house chores. So on social media, there's been a push of, oh, women should be empowered, like they should be like slave queens and all this shit. Guys, fuck you guys. You guys are terrible. You are all rapists. So what happened is, like, you put guys down, you raise women even more higher. So now women have their head full of air, hot air, that they think they're like hot air balloons. Guys are basically just, I don't know, crack shell turtles. And then when you do like a push, like, don't bother getting married. So now obviously women for sure won't want to get married, even though the guys are already struggling to even talk to them. So let's say there's a guy that actually proposed. The woman's like, no, I'm going to be doing chores. Why would I be a mother? So I have chores, which it is a chore. I'm telling you guys, like, we have 2 kids, and a lot of time my girlfriend handles them more because she knows better than me. Like, I handle a lot of stuff, but I'm more like the decision maker or the protective. Like, if something is danger or something, that's when I jump in, like, more than my girlfriend, because she'll freeze. It's just nature. It's not a society thing. My son, when we're on vacation, for example, his fever jumped all the way to 104. That's pretty high. So my girlfriend was already panicking. I'm like, calm down. Let's give him some Tylenol. I grabbed him. I held him the whole time. I kept him awake. I'm like, let's keep him awake. So I got him. I have an app on the phone that's popping balloons. He loves it. So I left him playing that app. I told her, give me a wet towel. So she brought me a cold water, a cup of cold water with a towel, a little towel, and then I squeeze, put it on, so I keep his head, cold, and we waited. She stood up, but she kind of knocked out a few times. I stood awake 2 hours, checked his temperature. I kept checking like every 45 minutes. I'll check it. I saw it going down slowly. I'm like, all right, let's wait. After like 2-3 hours, we gave him some more Tylenol, kept checking him. Boom. His temperature went under the 90, like under the 100. We're in the safe zone. That's it. See, I was able to stay calm in the situation, and I already had backup. I was already checking the nearest ER, how far it was, and everything. She started panicking. It's just how we are wired, and that's what people don't understand. But with social media, it doesn't, those things like being wired, like me telling you what I'm saying, makes me a sexist on social media. All right.
RIP to the king. Although technology makes things easier, it can also make us more atomized. Why go to the mall when I can just tap, buy a new microphone, and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my social interaction I need from Twitter and streamers? Why go on dates and bother meeting women when I can just tap, Google big boob and get 2 million results? Or see my high school crush's holes on OnlyFans for only $5. Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction, and hey, who even needs a real woman when you could just have an AI girlfriend? We're f***ed. We're so f***ed.
Well, the thing is, like, what I was saying earlier, especially for guys, a guy has to put more work into finding a girlfriend. Because it's not just coming up and talking to a girl. You talk to a girl, and the girl decides if they're even going to give you a chance. And this was even before social media blew up. When I was in high school, for example, true story again. Oh my god, the thing is that I'm in the best like era, in a sense that I existed before technology blew up the way it blew up, and now I'm living with technology. So you can see both worlds in a sense. When I was in high school, 9th grade or 10th grade, sophomore or freshman, the internet wasn't like it was today for sure. There's internet, Google was still there, but it was like, barely anyone used it as it is widely used today. Smartphone didn't exist, and if it did exist, it was not, it was super expensive and stuff. It was the beginning, so I don't remember anyone in school even wielding one. So I was trying to talk to a girl. So in high school, when I got to high school, I saw this girl and I fell automatically in love, or at least what I thought was in love. She never gave me the time of day. She made me think that she liked me multiple times, but she'll at the end she'll tell me like, "Oh, I only see you as a friend." And I remember, like, for Valentine, for example, I'll get her gifts and shit like that. She'll accept them. She'll act like she liked me. Didn't. Even like everyone knew that I like my feelings. Like the teachers or the classmates, stuff like that. It was so hard to even get her to even bother giving me a chance. In our college years, then it was different. When we were in college, we haven't seen each other for like, I don't know, 2-3 years. She reached out to me. I think she reached out first. I don't remember how it was. But one of our incoming friend basically made us reach to each other. And then through text, we reached out. And then I was like, obviously it's through text, so I'm not that shy. So I was like more confident. And then when I met her, I kept up the act. And then that's what got me the chance. But it was a lot of work. It took years for her to even bother giving me a chance. And it was more because I was more confident that time. I wasn't like after her. I was like, yeah, whatever. Oh, you want to meet? Sure. If you want to. If not, I got other things to do. And that's it. Well, you don't have to say they have other things to do. You just gotta give them cold messages. For some reason, girls, this is what I've always been taught by older gentlemen, Latinos, is that girls want what they can't have. So if you give them too much attention, you're losing. So you can't give them too much attention or everything they want, because what they want is what they can't have. So if you put yourself in a way where you're basically confusing her, like she's like, okay, I can have him or I can't, I'm not sure, then they'll take interest in you. This is what old people told me. It worked for me. So I was young, I was 18 at that time. So, but stuff has changed right now. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I lived that, where you actually had to go out on dates and stuff like that. We went out to movies and stuff like that, and I went to her house. Nowadays, you could just do everything online, and it's easier. Obviously, it's easier to just go on OnlyFans. I don't know how it works because I've never used OnlyFans, but I know that you can message people. So it's probably like a cam girl thing, I think. So if you guys know, you could leave in the comment section. But go on OnlyFans and talk to these girls who are exposing all their body, and then you go tiki tiki tiki, and you know what tiki 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 means, and then you had your rush and your fill, which is sad because you're not being physical. But you know, again, when you elevate women so high on a very high pedestal, and you keep grounding the guys and you just keep punching them down, that's what you get.
Dating apps really are the great Satan, and I'm convinced they've completely broken men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general are picky, and I mean, naturally we are pickier. You know, we're the ones who carry the babies, at least for now. But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification of love and the window shopping of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men.
So I don't think that, and I think, okay, more story. So my girlfriend today, which will probably be my wife, I keep calling her girlfriend because technically we're not legally married, but technically she's like my wife, and my kids and all that, right? She's the mother of my kids. We met on a dating app. I was dating, like I was trying to date girls, and other girls in my inner circle, and when I mean inner circle is like an easy range, where it was at my job, where all had kids. And I did not want to date a girl with kids. Because multiple reasons. I'd rather have a girl that has no kids and I have my own kids with her and then we're happy. But I saw with other people around me that were dating girls that had kids, where the ex was always in the way. And I'm a type of person that I'm lazy. Like, what I mean I'm lazy is like, I like to avoid problems and just take the easy route. I don't like making my life more complicated if I don't have to. Like if I want to date someone, dating a person is hard enough. Why add kids into the mix? You're just gonna struggle even more. That's just my opinion. Nothing against anyone who does that. But to me, I didn't want to deal with it. So I was just struggling finding any other girls that were attracted to me, that I felt that were attracted and at the same time had kids. So I was in a dating app and I met my girlfriend. Now, what I mentioned earlier about how we go into the dating app is, the dating app in my perspective is either you're just there to have fun, or you may want to look for something serious, but it's not. To me, there's no way I went into a dating app thinking it was gonna get serious with my girlfriend. It was just, let's have fun and then just keep on moving. Girls that go into a dating app, they're usually broken girls that are looking for love, and that's stupid. Like, I'm not saying that it cannot happen. Look, it happened with my girlfriend and me, but commonly it's supposed to be like, if you're on a dating app, it's because you want to have fun for both woman and man. Don't go in there expecting a full relationship. Don't go looking for like the best guy or the best girl. You're gonna find someone that either is broken or, you know, may not be the best person. So that's how you're supposed to go into those apps. If for whatever reason it works out, like you find someone that actually is a good person, they just want to use a dating app, it can happen. It happened to me, but it doesn't happen commonly. So that's why I don't think dating app is Satan. Like Sean Hemp believes. I feel like you have to know what you're getting into, and before you get into it, you have to already, know what to expect. And a lot of women and guys go there without knowing what to expect.
Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too. According to Vox, Americans are currently in a friendship recession, and men are being hit the hardest.
I don't understand though. How?
The percentage of men who reported having at least 6 close friendships fell in half since the 90s. 1 in 5 men say they have no close friendships. Looking at all these statistics, the explosion of figures like Andrew Tate is not surprising at all.
I believe being a man is a blessing because it starts so difficult. I believe that every man is born without any value at all. I think that the world's never going to think you're important unless you make yourself important.
And recently, a new study...
That's the thing, and it's true. So the whole friendship thing, I'm kind of baffled because, like, why? You can find friends at school if you're like, you know, still going to school, at work, or online. Like I have, like, for example, Alex that you guys seen on the chat, and another one that comes sometime, Will. They're good friends, and I met them online. I have never met Will in person yet. I've met Alex a few times in person, and then I have like other friends. But do I have a big range of friends? No, but it's not because I want to have friends. It's just like I like to have a small group of friends because there's been, again, it's all about experience from myself, and you may experience from others. When you have too much friends, some friends are not good friends. To have the good friends, you have to have a small group which are good friends. Not anyone could be a really best friend. You can have an acquaintance, and you have a lot of acquaintances, but best friends, like the friends that will be there for you through anything, that's a small number. So that's how I see it. And I have friends of different ages. I have friends around my age, a little younger, and then my other friend, Jorge, which is like in his 50s, probably 60. So that's how it is. But that's how I feel. The whole Andrew Tate thing, yes, like a lot of people, Andrew Tate is talking to people, lonely guys, that their life sucks because unfortunately stuff against them. It is true. You start with no value and you have to give yourself the value if you're a man. I do agree with that. Women, all they need is hit puberty, they have titties, they have their booty, that's it. If they're cute in the face, they get value right away, especially when they're younger. As they start getting older, that value starts declining, which is when those women start seeking the real good man's and marriage because their value is going to shit and they're not getting the same attention they used to. So I understand that, but even though like Andrew Tate says stuff that makes sense because he's already, like, he's a man, he knows what to say. You're supposed to, like, you know, think for yourself, in my opinion. And I don't know how a lot of people get involved. Like, I never got involved in any of that shit. Alright, political identities of 12 great boys. Okay, percentage identify as liberal or conservative. So there's more conservatives. Oh no, actually it seems like it was declining. But then liberals is declining for sure. Oh.
Came out about how young men are moving towards the right. And every other month, we, the liberal, sockdom, leftist, whatever you want to call the space online, performs the same song and dance. What's wrong with men? Why is this happening? Why don't we have a leftist Andrew Tate? We need to push men to the left. Andrew Tate rarely, if ever, talks about politics.
But the thing is, like, okay, if you want to talk about politics, it's like, if you see a guy, if you see the role models of people on the right that are guys, you're gonna see usually is guys that are like, they know what they want, they're affirm, you know, they have kids, they have a whole family, they have beautiful wives and shit like that. When you see to the left, at least a little bit I've seen, I don't know every leftist, is like usually are guys that were guys, have kids, for example, if you guys know one that I'm talking about, and then decide to transition. So the guys on the left are becoming women themselves, or they're soy boys, or they dressed up in a way that make them very fragile. The guys on the right, like Andrew Tate, for example, he is not fragile. He's muscular. He works out. He treats people like shit. He has an answer to everything, and he doesn't care if he hurts your feeling. On the left, it's all about, oh, my feelings, oh my god, you said something and like, oh, and then you like crumple into, like, you know, you shadow down. You this is what gonna make guys, you know, not look into that side and start going to the other side, because men are supposed to be men. We are men. We're supposed to be rough. We play rough. We joke around rough. That's how it always been. You know, that's why boys, my son, he's a little kid. He don't know about politics. He don't know shit. He's rough. He breaks everything. He hits himself so many times on the head, on his knee. Right now, he has 2 scrapes on his knees. On each knees, he has a scrape. And it hurts him. He cries for a few minutes. He gets up, and then he keeps doing it again until he falls again. He does it, and then he reopens his scrapes. That's a boy. That's a boy. and then that's how men are naturally. But when you do the whole politics, they want to make guys into these feminine, fat guys that don't do anything, and that's not helping the men. The leftist men are not really getting girls, to be honest. So that's why they're moving more to conservative, because they feel like they're gonna have a better chance, especially if they find a conservative wife, which is a traditional woman that doesn't have an OnlyFans, that takes care of themselves, probably like save themselves to marriage, shit like that. Again, that's just my opinion.
Andrew Tate talks about men, and the left only talks about men when they talk about Andrew Tate. A few months ago, during one of the monthly song and dances, some progressive people I follow made the mistake of addressing men's issues, and the even bigger mistake of pointing their finger at their own spaces.
I don't know who this guy is, Lil Baby Gandhi. Said, the reason, what a stupid name, by the way. Not his name, Sid, the Lil Baby Gandhi, Gandhi, whatever his name is. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them for our own sake.
For not doing enough to address said men's issues.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare company Cigna indicating that men are the loneliest generation. And addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining to women, but it does mean that we should be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Vosh, who's a...
So I watched Jordan Peterson. I don't feel like he's saying bad stuff. The thing is, like, what the leftists don't like is when people talk about common sense. Like, I am not a young man that needs to fill a void. I'm an old bitch. I'm old. There's no void to fill. I already got my filling. My kids, my girlfriend, wife. That's it. And when I say girlfriend, wife, is because she's technically my wife until we get married. So that's it. Like, I already got everything I need. My 2 cats. You guys, for example, because when we're in the chat, you guys make me feel good. But other than that, that's it. Like, I don't need nothing else. In a sense, like, well, I need money, but I don't need like nothing else like to fill a void. So what they're saying is fucking stupid. Like, Jordan Peterson says shit that makes sense, and when you sit down and you're listening to a guy that makes sense, and it's usually common sense, you're eventually you're gonna start following that person. What they're worried about is the leftists is the more men, young men and older men, every man start leaning more to the right. What's gonna happen is like the woman eventually will, there's gonna be time where leftist women will get with conservative men, and what's gonna happen is like the leftist the woman gonna end up moving to the right, because in the end of the day, when you're together, you're gonna have a lot of experiences, and when shit start making sense, which is usually the stuff on the right that's gonna start making sense, then the woman will become conservative. It doesn't have to be conservative, but she's gonna move more to the right. Why? Think about this instance. Right now, a lot of single women, they're like, yeah, especially in sport and shit like that, they're like, yeah, it doesn't matter if a guy becomes a woman. Anyone can be different gender, blah, blah. It's fun. They don't have kids. They're talking about out of their ass. They don't give a shit. They meet a guy. They're to the right. They get together. They start having kids. They want a good future for their kids. Because when you have kids, you're not living for yourself anymore. You're living more for them. You're living for yourself, but most of your life is for them. You want the best for them. You start seeing that these people have transitioned, all the hardship, this bad stuff that happens, all the struggle. But what you gonna right away know that is not something that is real. It's more like a mental illness. So you're gonna try to guide your kids to not follow the same thing. So you're gonna teach them. You're gonna be like, look, a boy and a girl. That's how it really works. Blah blah. monitor a certain cartoon they watch and shit like that. What happened to that mother? She was a leftist, but now she's not a leftist anymore. Now she don't want to see her kids in a drag show. They don't want to see their kids being read by a drag queen. No, they don't want that. They want their kids or watching Disney where it shows, you know, stuff of two guys or two girls or guys changing or girls changing. What happened there? But she was a leftist. She supported all these groups. Little by little, goes to the right. Because the guy is going to explain, look at my family. Maybe they have friends that are leftists and family member. And they see, because it does, you know, the like, I'm going to steal different shoe on head. The little song and dance doesn't make sense. And they have their friends that are leftists, they're suffering. Maybe they're even transitioning and they're suffering through all that. But the conservative, they're like, oh, look how we are. We don't live that. We don't have that issue. Boom. You converted. That's what's going to happen eventually. That's what they are realizing now. And that's why they're like panicking right now. But it's kind of too late in a sense.
A popular streamer had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't.
The responses to these...
But why are you focusing on white? Like, what does it have to be a race? Like, it doesn't have to be a race. Like, it's not only white guys that are lonely. It's every race. Japanese are not white people. They're Asian. And they're suffering the same shit. And they're very more traditional than this stupid country. And when I say this stupid country, I love my country. I love the USA. But at the same time, like, the people make this country stupid.
Tweets in this content were very normal, level-headed, and respectful. Me when I lie. LMAO, cry about it. Boo f***ing who? Oh no, poor widow men having problems. Boo f***ing who? Grow the f*** up then. Have men considered being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad, pathetic lives. Sounds like a personal problem. Is the lack of compassion for men in the room with us right now? Maybe men are just not good people then. I'm so fucking tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal problem. Yeah, no, their fifis are not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have to be punished because they can't get their shit together as human beings. Grow the up. Why are we trying to win these entitled little predators over? The left isn't for them. That's why they go right in the first place. We're all lonely and alienated. It's young men going to the alt-right in droves. The problem isn't our messaging, it's them. It's literally not our problem. Men flock to Andrew Tate not because they're lonely, but because they're bigots. Hope this helps. Nah, it's just misogynists being louder than before and not getting laid. LOL. Cry harder, losers. 90% of all homicides recorded worldwide were committed by male perpetrators. We should just get rid of all males, to be honest. This includes trans women, as they still retain male violence.
Wow. Oh, what I left this. Before we continue, these people are ridiculous and stupid, and I think I need my zapper because I think there's a mosquito around. They're stupid. What do they think they're accomplishing? Like, they really think that, like this girl saying, like, get rid of all men. Like, you wouldn't be able to survive without men regardless. Like, you're not built the same way to basically do anything like a man. There's situations where you're gonna crumble right away. Same as the situation that we men need women to be able to, like, elevate us and keep us pushing forward harder. The thing is, like, people think that stuff that existed before is just old and tradition, and it's not that. When you're gonna, like, you know, for example, I might be wrong here, but you guys could correct me if anything. Popcorn. You pop the popcorn in the microwave. That's been done for ages. You could also get the one that is on the stove, but it's different. It has the little metal or like aluminum and stuff like that. So you could do it. There's different ways to do it, but everything has its own basically gimmick. You cannot pop the same bag of popcorn in the stove without having the aluminum foil. You just can't. You pop that everywhere. You can't just do it on the oven. You can't do it in the air fryer, I don't think. So there's stuff that was built for a reason. Even animals, you don't see animals just changing gender. You don't see a cat one day it's a male cat and then tomorrow it's a female cat. Because by nature, it's not a societal thing. It's nature. And it's the same thing here. Women and men have their own nature. It's always going to be like that. There could be some men that have more nature that makes them more womanly, and there's some women that have nature that makes them more manly. That is a case. I'm not gonna say no, but the biggest, like the average, not only the average, the biggest amount of from the population, men are men and women are women, and they end up having their own nature come up eventually. As hard as you try to seal it away, it's like my driveway. We could have the driveway, which is concrete, but then eventually the earth will find a way to break it, and grass is gonna grow regardless. It's just nature always gonna overcome, and that's what people don't understand. And then you had shit posts, all these people that were shit posting, and this stupid girl that it's sad because she doesn't look ugly. She looks pretty cute, but she's a dumb bitch. So you can already tell that she probably does OnlyFans or any of this shit where she feels like she's so elevated that she could get any guy. And the bad thing is that she does have a lot of simp after her because she doesn't look bad. But in reality, she's a dumb bitch who needs to get smacked 2-3 times. And it'll be funny that her life goes to shit where she needs a man and all the men just throw her away. Be like, nope, figure it out on your own. That'd be the best irony.
By the way, you know the Tumblr feminists who were like, all men are sexist and rapists, male tears, penises are evil, blah 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 back in the day? Well, this is them now. Should've just let me cook back then. Listen up, chuckle. I'm white, socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, got a weird balding pattern, and have bad skin. You know what I didn't do? Choose to become a fascist, because I recognize most of the sort that look like me are the problem.
Yeah, and you're probably single and have not gotten your dick wet in years.
I may be hideously ugly and pathetic, but at least I'm not a fascist. Thank you for your input, buddy. You're, really helping the situation. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them. For our own sake.
Oh, we already
I'm sorry,
saw
but
this.
How is respect women brain-dead advice? What advice? Don't rape? Don't be a rapist is bad advice? Help, I have no friends or community, I feel suicidal. Have you considered not raping? Act like a decent fucking human being, it's not hard, is brain-dead advice?
So, I don't understand what is this rape culture that has come up so badly. Yeah, there's guys that rape. That's true. And it's same as how there's women that rape too. But alright, it's kind of more commonly in guys, if I'm not mistaken. I get that. Those are bad guys. And women should be more careful. There we go again with nature. Like, if I go ahead and I go to the woods, and it's a wood where there's bears, I don't take no weapon because I don't believe in guns, for example. I go over there and I want to try to be, go camping, no equipment, no nothing. Again, no gun because I don't believe in guns and shit. And then I get attacked by a bear, I'm gonna get killed. The bear's gonna, rip me from limbs because the bear is way stronger than me. I don't have no weapon because of my ideology, so I have no way to defend myself. I could try to punch the bear slaps me, my face goes away. It just flies off 2 miles away. That's just reality. There's no way a human is gonna fight a bear or grown bear and beat it, unless you're like, I don't think The Rock could do that either. The point that I'm trying to make is it's all about nature. So if I go and I protect myself, I take the precautions to go camping, but also have weapons and whatever I need to probably kill a bear or at least injure it to scare it away, then I have a higher rate of not getting mauled to death, right? Or I probably said that wrong, but whatever, not getting destroyed. When a woman, especially nowadays, and back in the days too, but nowadays, because of how society is they dress up, especially like when they go to the gym. I go to the gym and there's a woman there that they show everything. And it's like, I don't know where they get these clothes from and where they get the idea that this is like the best way to dress up. And then they don't want people to look at them. It's like if I go ahead and I fucking have a whole penis, like a dildo strapped on my head, and I start walking around and people look at me, I'm like, oh, what the fuck you looking at? Like, you never seen a penis, a dildo before? And like, no, people gonna look at me because I'm being weird. And it's the same thing. Like, you're dressing up in a way that you can attract attention. You shouldn't do that. And then you go ahead and you dress up like that, and then a guy that probably is one of these like sad men that never had anything and is desperate, they're gonna overpower you. It doesn't matter how much time you go to the gym. Guys are usually stronger. And not only to the gym, anywhere. So what happens is then rape happens. Fucking dress better. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, it's a justification. It's just, again, going back to the story with the bear. It's not a justification that the bear goes and kills me. It's not a justification for me to have a gun. It's like, if you want to protect yourself, you might need weapons against a bear that could like smack you one time and you're dead. Same thing with, don't dress up in a way. Like if I go over there to the forest and I don't know if bear really like honey like they do like in Winnie the Pooh. But if I drench myself in honey to attract the bear, and then the bear obviously knows where I'm at, I have no weapon, and comes and kicks my ass and kills me, then I kind of did it to myself again. And it's the same thing with women. Like, the way society is, they're pushing even young girls to do stuff like dress up very like provocative and then start acting stupid, and then they get upset when shit happens to them. No, start being a humble woman and stop being an idiot. And also like the same thing with like TikTok, like how I think it was a TikTok that women were like recording, like they'll dress up very provocative, and then if any guy just glance at them, they already labeled them a creep. Like you can't do that and then expect to eventually have men into these type of women. It doesn't matter how pretty you are. You could be a pretty woman. If you're a piece of shit, eventually people are gonna smell the shit, and the guys will smell the shit and start moving to girls that don't smell like ass. And that's what's gonna happen, which is what's little by little is happening.
Brain dead advice like get consent and don't be a Nazi and women are people. Walking up to men struggling with loneliness and depression like,
kids, don't be racist.
Incredible. Here's my actual advice I would give to my teen boys as a leftist. 1. Always get enthusiastic consent. 2. Save the planet. 3. Don't say that. It's actually kind of racist.
But don't say what. And besides that, those are horrific advices for a teen boy. You're gonna make a really sad boy.
Like, what the f is this? How does this address men and their issues? It doesn't. Why does their advice always seem to be, become a liberal? Hey men, here's how to fix all your problems. Agree with me politically. Men flock to the MRA movement because they're the largest beneficiaries of MRA shit. Imagine saying women flock to women's rights activism because they're the biggest beneficiaries of women's rights. Like, no f***ing shit. Let's be honest. Aside from procreation purposes.
Alright. Look at this profile pic. Look at this guy. Let's look at the message, but just look at him first, and then I could talk shit.
Men have become obsolete. Most women can find other methods of achieving orgasm without a man there. And speaking as a man, most of us are horrid to be around, and I don't blame any woman for just saying, no thanks.
Yeah. He looks like shit. He looks fat, first of all. He's bald, and he looks like he probably just like whacks off all day to OnlyFans. And he's saying all this shit thinking that one day a woman is gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, you're right, let's go have sex. No, you're a loser. Stop defending women that are assholes because you're not gonna get anything and you're a loser. Whoever you are.
Oh my god, dude, this is what every Just Pearly Things tweet looks like to me. Just with the genders swapped. This is pathetic. You know what fixes male loneliness? Jerking off. As a man, I'll say this. Sit down, shut up, and beat one out. You'll feel better. I promise. Yeah, guys, just beat one out. Just off. Just watch porn. Batman will be very disappointed in all of you. It's so funny how men feel entitled to a girlfriend. No, you sexist freak. When one side is like, wanting a girlfriend is sexist entitlement, and the other side is like, here's how to get a girlfriend. I don't know, bro. What happened to males just kicking the bucket? Now they just come on here and try to make their loneliness and misery into some social justice issue. Oh, trust me, men are still kicking the bucket. And when they're not giving mind-blowing advice like just to be a liberal, they're outright dismissing men's issues completely. It's not our job to educate them. Since men created the problem, they need to take steps to fix it. We have other things to care about. Men can figure out their own problems that they created. Again, it's not women's jobs to change how men are socialized. It's a man issue and y'all need to address that amongst yourselves. Men created their own problems. Men can solve their own problems. The left is busy. Why does the well-being of other people concern me?
Because the thing is, like, and I'm gonna say this, the left never gives a shit about anything. Like, look, if they care about, and I'm talking generally, like, my perspective of the left is all the new stupid movements, and the right is just all the old shit. And that's, I might be wrong. That's why I'm bringing that up. So the thing with the left is that they want to focus on, for example, look at feminism. Like, they fought for women's rights and stuff like that, and now technically guys are taking the rights in a sense, because there's guys that have been woman of the year. There's been guys that will be, the best swimmer or deadlifter or whatever, the weightlifter, shit like that. And look at what happened in Bud Light, for example. So even the feminists, like the women that are feminists, they're being let down because little by little they're becoming obsolete themselves because men are replacing them. And that's kind of like the leftist movement. Basically, men will have to end up being women to be able to get the same attention that women get. And they'll even get more attention because, God forbid, you do anything against a man that transition, because that's like already a big no-no. Your whole life gets destroyed from that point. And then to the right, they're like, no, guys, you're not supposed to. Like, you want the attention. That's not how you get the attention. You want the attention. Work on yourself. Become somebody. Find a woman that has the same ideas and ideology as you. And then have a family. The whole purpose of living is, besides trying to be successful and whatnot, is to have a family so you feel full and whole. Which is true, in a sense. Like, I was a man. No, I am a man. I was a man that was young, is what I meant to say. I was a man. Don't clip this shit. And I used to be young. And obviously, like, did I feel lonely at times? Yes, I did. Like I said, like, I had a hard time just to get, like, the first girlfriend. I didn't have a girlfriend. While a lot of people were having girlfriends when they were younger, I didn't. I was kind of chubby. I played a lot of video games. I was a nerd. So, I was almost basically, without knowing it, a leftist. And with time, I just started changing. And then I started working more on myself. I started gaining my confidence. And then this is how I am. And I've obviously been getting better and better and over the years because you get wiser. And that's kind of what happens. But nowadays, especially, it's like, guys have it harder because you didn't have, and back in my day, you didn't have, you only had the people around you that could either pick on you or help you out. Now you post you're lonely, you don't know what to turn to. You go and post something on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any social media, Twitter, which is the worst place, and then you get like 1 million people just dunking on you, and then obviously that's why a lot of men will eventually try to hurt themselves, and it's sad. And I've seen, like, I seen people around me, like at least one young person that I'm like, I'll tell them, like, I don't know what you're so sad about. All you have to do is work hard, but they don't listen. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of times they don't want to listen, and then they want everything easy, and because they see social media or they see other people have it easy, or even movies and songs that just make everything sound easier. And what a lot of guys don't understand, especially young men, is like, unless you have money, unfortunately, then you kind of have to work hard. It's not like women. You could be broke, But you have a nice body, a nice face, and you're a young girl, you could get everything.
Leftist, by the way. It's all systemic issues and societal factors and blah 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 until it's a man and then suddenly it's pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. This problem is just a consequence of the patriarchy. Now take a wild guess about which gender created the patriarchy. Solve your own problems and leave women alone.
It has nothing to do with patriarchy. It has nothing to do. Loving the country and being strong for the country, it has nothing to do. I hate Cuba in a sense. Like, I'm Cuban, but I was born in the US. My parents had to leave. It has nothing to do. In Cuba, you get lonely men too. Nowadays, with social media, you get some lonely men in Cuba too. And it's worse because the lonely men over there end up eating dirt regardless. It doesn't really matter.
These people rightly mock the bootstraps rhetoric until the subject is a man, and then it's bootstraps all the way down. They would never talk about any other group this way. It's wild. And it's kind of like both sides are telling men to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, but one is like, I'll show you how, and the other is like,
figure it out.
Fuck off. And when they're not telling men to straight up fuck off, they're giving the 200 IQ answer that nobody has ever heard before. Just show your emotions, bro. And I'm not dismissing this problem, okay? I've made videos talking about this. Oh, you're crying at your grandfather's funeral? Okay, faggot. And studies have shown that men—
And that's another thing, like, they like, it's not only the old days, it's like the people nowadays, like, if you show that some emotion, some people just treat you like shit after. I've never had that happen, but I don't know. That's what social media says a lot.
And are scared to be vulnerable, even around the homies. And can you blame them when the media says stupid like this? Fellas, is it woke?
UK builders go woke. Study finds 3/4 of tradesmen discuss their feeling with colleagues, while 2/3 shun the fried breakfast and nearly half say they are history buff. I don't know what the fuck they mean, but why is sharing your feeling going woke?
To open up to your fellow men and discuss history.
Yeah, why?
Men are socialized to believe strength, dominance, and stoicism are behaviors of a real man. Is it any surprise that men are lonely and have less friends nowadays? You have to be vulnerable to make friends. Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting—
You don't have to be vulnerable to have friends. You have to have fun and have stuff that you guys like to be friends. That's how you make friends.
Men. Now, while a lot of this may be true,
no, it's
men
not.
have been socialized this way for centuries, and this is all relatively a new phenomenon. Toxic masculinity has existed forever. If anything, there's less toxic masculinity nowadays. The cultural embrace of, like, gender nonconformity, femboys, Harry Styles in a dress, Barbie movie, blah 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 blah. My point is, toxic masculinity did not just appear in the mid-2010s. But social media did, and the internet did, and the rise of dating apps did, and the housing crisis, and living in a country where the wealth inequality is worse than it was during the Gilded Age. That all happened recently. Oh my god,
Yeah. And not only that, it's like, that's the whole thing, like, being masculine, horse playing rough, being jackasses, that's what brings men together. Nowadays, if you do any of that, it's seen in a bad way as toxic masculinity. I can't say the stupid word. And then what happened is that now you want these guys to be very vulnerable and be like, soy boys. And then they have less friends because that's how it is.
Privileged life these poor little boys must have, that their biggest problem is being lonely, i.e. so insufferable that nobody wants to sleep with them. So much more pressing than the poor distribution of wealth causing people to suffer food and housing insecurity. Boo-hoo, you're lonely and have no friends and are suicidal, wah. Because feeling alienated under capitalism apparently isn't a thing. People are working harder and longer while wages have been stagnant, men have been dropping out of college like flies, and what does that get you? Poor men. Which, since women are doing amazing in college now, and many are now out-earning men, this most of the time leads to single men, which then leads to lonely men, which leads to depressed men, which leads to the high suicide rate. In my opinion, leftism at a policy level does a great job addressing the shitty material conditions that in part lead to the problems that men are facing.
Yeah, of course. Because, again, you got women that are doing better for themselves. They don't really need men, in a sense, at least for the reason that they were always, brought up for. So, why women could be even pickier. Like, women were picky back in the day. when they didn't have anything. They were just depending on men. So they're still picky. Nowadays, it's even worse. Now women are doing way better than men. So the men that are doing worse than women, they stand no chance. They just stand no chance. Because they have nothing to offer, in a sense. In at least the woman's view. So that's why you end up with this scenario. Which I think will be awesome when everything starts collapsing. Because it will collapse eventually. Because we are going to have stagnation. Where like there's not, kids being born. And that's why I think they are doing the whole immigration thing. That they allow a lot of immigrants to come in. Because that's what they feel that will save the country, in a sense. Because they do see what's going to happen, that eventually it's like the population for children is going to drop so drastically. They're going to need people to, be around. So they're going to take advantage of the immigrants. That's how I feel.
But then absolutely drops the ball when it comes to everything and anything related to men's cultural issues. Many such cases. And why would a struggling man even want to move left when the left appears actively hostile to them?
The question of...
They calling all lonely men rapists. Oh, if I'm lonely young man, I'll be like, oh, can't wait to just join them so I could be called a fucking rapist, because why not? That's like the thing I always wanted.
Whether or not the hashtag online left does enough to appeal to hashtag men has become the question du jour. And like, men have most of the money, authority, and do most of the murder.
Is he wearing makeup?
Murdering and assaulting.
The average young man in America isn't Jeff Bezos. Also, why did this motherfucker just FBI crime statistics at me? Men do the most murder. Okay?
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They like that.
You could tell he doesn't get pussy.
They want it to stay that way because it suits them. Because of the stuff, telling people they're special and deserve all the nice shit that they have, that's going to be an easier sell 10 times out of 10 than like saying, hey, maybe you should have less stuff and other people should have more.
Leftism is when you don't have a lot of stuff. We're gonna take your stuff. You sound like a 65-year-old Fox News boomer's idea of what the left is. Are you a CIA agent? The right is saying to men, you will own a house. You will have beautiful children with your loving wife. You will have privacy. You will have free speech. You will own things, and you will be happy. And the left is like...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But don't get me wrong, Republicans will not do shit. The Republican Party will not do shit. The establishment in general will not do shit to help any of this. But the right is, at least rhetorically, offering men something other than nothing or the eternal HR department. Every time this Discord comes up, there's people like, we need a leftist Andrew Tate. We need masculine role models on the left. But the fact is, it's hard for progressives to organically appeal to men, because a large part of progressivism is oppressive hierarchies, and men are oppressors. Making progressivism look appealing to young men is an uphill battle from the start. And although it's funny to laugh at insane people on Twitter, as always, there have been a lot of left-wing content creators talking about men's issues. If you would have told me this would be a thing 9 years ago, I would not believe you, because anyone talking about men's issues back in the day was called an MRA.
Because they are already realizing you do need men. You do need men. You look, this is how I feel like. The more you get rid of, like, men, and then you cannot procreate. All the leftist women and men too, they can't procreate like that guy probably with the lipstick and shit. What's gonna happen is like their ideology is gonna die there. Like they're not gonna have kids to continue passing on that ideology. You're gonna have the people on the right that are having family and stuff like that, passing their ideology. For example, my ideology is gonna get passed down to my kids, and they will probably evolve there. Either they might stray away or continue even harder and pass it down to their kids and so on. So what's gonna happen is like those people are gonna get removed from the gene pool. Same as when they doing this I know this is jumping away from this specific topic, but I'm very passionate about this. It's like the fat movement. Those people that are very fat and stuff like that, most of them won't have a chance to have a kid because all the health condition, plus they're probably gonna die before they even do. So those people are out of the gene pool too. So to me, I've always said this, and I've said it a few times on stream, I think. where I can't wait for the chaos to erupt, because eventually it's gonna get chaotic to all those people, all the people that are doing everything, all the people on the left that are doing other stuff they're doing today. It makes them feel today good. It's like while they're saying watch porn and then just, you know, break one out. Yes, you're gonna feel good at that moment, but it's not gonna fulfill you for the long term. A lot of people on the left, all their policies and all their ideology is gonna come crumbling down in a few years, because it makes them feel good today, but it's not sustainable for the future. And that's what's happening, and that's what a lot of the leftists are starting to notice, and they're trying to reel in these lonely men. But it's kind of late, because you have so many different Andrew Tate nowadays, that you have like these guys that, you know, like the whole thing where guys are going to like Asian countries or other countries that are like they have more traditional women, and they like go marry them instead, and then they're leaving the woman from the West here just to their own devices. And that's what kind of happens. And the guys from those countries don't want the Western woman, because they don't want a woman that treats them like shit and doesn't act like a real woman, or at least the society real woman. And that's what the thing is, that people are now understanding that. And what's gonna happen is that shift. Eventually the shift is gonna come, and it's gonna be funny to watch. And the good thing is I'll probably be like 50-year-old by then, but I'm gonna still be laughing my ass off.
Or a pick-me. But lately I have seen a lot of good pro-men lefty content, and I'll put some links to some below. I don't agree with all the points they say, but I recommend watching. It's much better than...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But the issue is a lot of this...
I don't understand that jackass saying that. I feel like his face is so punchable. They have all these stuff that they don't deserve. What don't men deserve? Like, why can't a man work hard, have stuff, and then they don't deserve it? Like, I feel like this is the thing with what I always want to tell people. If you don't like living in a country where you could earn stuff, go to fucking Cuba. Go to Cuba. Go live there. Drop everything off. Go live there. If I were ever a politician, and I would need you guys' help to ever become one, because I need votes, I would love to become a politician where I go ahead and I create an exchange program with Cuba. I'll start with Cuba, because it's like the country is closest to home, because it's my you know, where I'm descended from. I would like to do an exchange program where all these people that feel this way, usually leftists, will just exchange with Cubans that really want to go to a country, they really want freedom, they really want to do good for their life. Not all Cubans, again. There's some Cubans over there that are kind of leftists too. Don't think that that's impossible. It is. But I would exchange them and have them live there. No backseat either. It's like they drop everything, they go live there just with the skin on, you know, the shirt and pants, you know, the clothes on their skin. That's it. And the Cubans would take all their stuff, because they don't deserve it. Remember, he just said it. They don't deserve it. So that way, they do the exchange program, and they see how life really is. When they start trying to talk shit, and the communist, you know, government comes in and shut you down, or make you disappear, and you would never be seen ever again. That's what I would love to do.
Lefty pro-men content, it's always framed around, how do we get them? As if men are just pawns and tools for your personal politics. How do we make the left more appealing to men? How do we stop lonely men from moving to Andrew Tate? Instead of just, how do we help men? And I think that's a really big issue. Both sides seem to treat men as political fodder. Disposable soldiers in the culture war and real war. Anyway, misandry is real. Oh good, finally! And while it doesn't systemically affect cis men, it most certainly affects trans men. Oh. Y'all talking about misandry doesn't harm men, and trans men are right there reading this shit, by the way.
I don't know what misandry is, by the way.
I see, now we only care about misandry because it affects trans men. Everyone stop! It's affecting a group I care about now. I love how the rhetoric just like evolved overnight, from male tears to cis male tears. And I just have to ask, why aren't you including trans men in your misandry,
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. We knew what...
Oh, I saw this. This is a woman that transitioned, right? This is a trans man. Yeah. And I'll tell you guys this, all right? Oh, I know a girl that... I mentioned it on one of my streams when I was venting. So she's like... she used to be into men, and then she became lesbian. And well, technically she's bi, then lesbian. I don't know what the hell. But anyway, she always complains about how lonely she is and how her life goes really bad. But then, like, she's not into men. But she said it multiple times. She's like, I'm not into men. So I guess she's lesbian now. So then she's like, oh, but the girls that, you know, I tried talking to don't give me a chance. It's like, yes, because you're competing not only against men, you're competing against other women too. And now, not only that, like, all women are super elevated. So women can be super picky. So even if you're a lesbian, but you look like shit, you're almost like a man. You're in the same category in a sense, where you're trying to get the same prey in a sense. Like you're trying to get this woman, but you have to do a little dance and song to try to attract them, and you can't because not only are you competing on lost game too, but you also look like shit and have nothing going for you. So might as well just be a woman. It'll be easier for you to pick any guy. So it's crazy. Like, women think that men's life is easier, but then this is happening, which is awesome, where they get to see what it is to really be a man. Being a man is not just go on OnlyFans. Like, I could open OnlyFans and I'll probably make way less than any woman because I don't have their body. Like, there's more men looking for any booty online than women looking for any pee-pee online. It's just how reality is and what people don't understand, and they just want to talk out of their ass.
But that felt like before we transitioned, we knew what it felt like to like have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you transition and
now he is a rapist. Yes!
You're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid. But
wait, white? Is it white men? Like, is it black men also like men? Like, I don't understand this. Like, I would have to ask my friend, Will. But if there's any viewer that I have that are black and are men, are you guys not men? Like, I don't understand why they have to say cis white man. I hate the cis word. You're men. You're a man or a woman. There's no cis. Like, suck my dick on that shit. But why is it only men? Like, I mean, white men. Like, am I not considered? Because I'm Latino. Am I white? I'm not sure if I'm white. Because technically I'm Latino. Am I considered white? I don't think I'm white. Am I white? I don't understand.
I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men.
Welcome to being a man. Here's your complimentary isolation and yellow pillow. Even when he's experiencing issues of
I love what she just said. She is fucking badass for saying that.
Being a man. He's like, this doesn't invalidate people hating men. Come on, bro. Men struggling don't want to be lectured about the patriarchy. They don't want to be told it's all their fault. They don't want to be told they're part of the problem because, first of all, they're not. The average 20-year-old didn't build society. They go to work, come home, off to sissy hypno fetish porn, and go to bed like everyone else. I've talked about this before, but a lot of men's value comes from the money they make, unfortunately. Men are natural providers, and if they have nobody to provide for, they get into findom or send random girls on the internet money. I'm just kidding, but the fact is...
No, it's true. She hit it right on the head of the nail. It is true.
Men simply feel like they don't have a purpose anymore. Whether a job or a career that's fulfilling and pays well, or a woman or family to protect and take care of and provide for, men are lacking purpose. And a man will crawl through broken glass for a purpose. But you know who does make them feel like they have a purpose?
Yep.
No, not him.
No, he does too. But yeah.
Difficult. I say them both beautiful
Andrew
and the
Tate,
most terrifying.
well, religion does. I'm telling you, some men are gonna flock into religion, which is true. But Andrew Tate is gonna be the one because he's more on social media, and it's like everyone talks shit about him, so people will, it's how they say, like, bad publicity is good publicity.
The thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you.
The absolute audacity to act shocked that Andrew Tate is scooping these guys up. After a decade of lol male tears is insane. Andrew Tate isn't the solution to men's problems, but he is talking to them. The fact is you did not care about them for years, and even now you just want to recruit them, not help them. And that's why you will fail. And hey, maybe I'll be the Andrew Tate of the left. Men, listen up. Wash your penis. So I guess I'll leave you guys with a question.
I wash my penis somewhere, like once a day.
Why do you think male loneliness has been increasing? What are your solutions for this problem? And are you dealing with loneliness? And I will see you guys next time with a new video.
Alright. I would say check on Shoe on Head. There's a lot of the videos. There's one video I've made, but I didn't actually upload it. I'm gonna upload this one, even though it's like an hour and something. If you guys actually do watch all the way to the end, yeah, I appreciate it. But I would say, like I said earlier, check her out. If you made it to this far and you didn't check her out yet, make sure after you watch my video, check her out, because you need to check her out. She deserves the views and all that stuff because it's her content. I'm just reacting to it. I was gonna say that basically the thing here is that men are lonely, and the real reason how she mentioned it, to my opinion, because I've said this before, is because they don't have no purpose. I have a family member that's close to me that has gone through stuff like this, where they're suicidal and they're like, oh, they hate their life and stuff like that, when they had a way better upbringing than I did. In a sense, they had more stuff than I did. They have more love and all that. And they are always crying. And I'm like, how the fuck? And it mind blows me. Like, I'm like, how the fuck? And I always will talk to their mom and be like, yo, how is this possible? This person had everything. The bad thing is, like, the mom will give them not only everything, but at the same time will agree with everything. So then they did not push them to be better, not push them to have a purpose. So they're in the world, they don't know what the hell they want, and they're just there. And then they're too scared to talk to a woman. And then with all this stuff with society today, makes it even harder, I'm guessing. So now they're here struggling, and they have to be on medication. That is not something that young men are supposed to be on, or going through. And that's why when you hear like Andrew Tate, when he goes ahead and he says all the right thing, and like Shoe on Head was saying, and try to basically tell them, here's a way to fix it. That's why you're gonna have men going over there. Makes sense. Like I said, a lot of the men are looking for traditional women too. Now, like those lonely men. Why? Because they want to be valued. They want to find a woman that will value them, will love them, will stick with them. What woman will have a hard time leaving you for no reason? Well, a traditional woman. A woman that usually is poor, usually, focus on their man, is raised to focus on their man, and doesn't have the Western value. And unfortunately, that's just how reality is. If the woman continue feeling like they're like on this pedestal and they're untouchable, then the men will keep flocking to alright. Another thing is, like, a lot of the men that are on the left are becoming women themselves either way. So what's gonna happen is, like, they're gonna have to, those guys, if they don't move to the right, will have to date those. And then obviously can't procreate. So in the end of the day, it's like I'm saying, and you guys could like clip this and save it there for the future. In the end of the day, there's gonna be a big bang, similar to how the universe got created, but it's gonna be a cultural big bang, and everything is gonna move even more to the right. Some stuff will stay to the left, but whoever stays in the left is just gonna crumple and die. And I don't mean like physically die. I mean like their ideology is just gonna die. Because you're gonna remove yourself from the gene pool. As much as you think that that's not gonna happen, it will happen. The reason being is because right now, back in the day, when you were a leftist, you were just a leftist in the sense that you wanted like better healthcare, better way to help, poor people. So, it was a difference in ideology on how the right was more like, get it together, work hard, and continue working if you want something. And the left is like, there are people that are struggling. You need to help them, help them have a better chance, which I do agree with, right? But nowadays, that's not the case. The leftist has branched off to some psychopath, and then the right, even though there's some psychopath, but they make sense, and and they're more successful in a sense. The people that are on the right are usually happier about their life. The people on the left are usually not happy. And then you're gonna have like the trans men that just showed up that was crying, and that's, again, it's a person on the left that is bit into whatever they're selling. Now that they're living in themselves, they get abandoned because the people on the left don't stand for you. They let you drown on your own. They don't help you. On the right, usually they do help you. You have a lot more people that have common issue with you because our issue they are common to everyone. On the left, there's a lot of issues that are not common to anyone because everyone is doing something. One person is a cat. The other person has a different ideology. The other person wants to kill all men. The other person feel that this country sucks, like and shit like that. And one thing I forgot to mention was like back in the day, leftists were still patriotic. They still care about the country. Nowadays, it's like this is the most evil country. So it's kind of hard to sell, hey, man, be man, but be on the left. But then you have to go overwrite a lot of stuff that's been said on the left. Like you cannot be masculine, which is what men are notoriously known for. And not only that, is because that's what make a man man. So you got somehow, some way bring men back, but without masculine, their toxic masculinity. I cannot say that stupid ass word. So yeah, their manlyhood. Then you want people like men to express themselves, but then you also gonna treat them like shit when they do. Or you like to all most of the leftists, it's like men are just right away rapists. So then how are you gonna end up having men flock to you when you're like keep tearing them apart, and you don't go back on that, and you don't want to go back on that? So it's just like the Big Bang will happen. You will see it, and it's just gonna be funny as shit, and it's just how life is gonna be. My biggest advice to any young man that is probably watching me is, look, if you need a purpose, don't worry about political and whatever. It doesn't matter what political side of the aisle you are in. If you want a purpose, you need to build your purpose. You need to work hard. That part, I'm not gonna lie. You need to work hard. Why? Because unfortunately, like a woman could just go open OnlyFans, show their titties and shit like that, and then make a living. We can't. So unless you like super fit, and you still will struggle. So all you have to do is just work hard, find yourself some hobbies, and work on yourself. Eventually, a woman will get curious, but you have to work on yourself. You have to hit the gym, and I'm saying hit the gym in a sense, not because, just to hit the gym. It's like, it's a distraction. So you won't be so depressed. Like if you're depressed and you give yourself distraction, it'll help. You're working hard. So you get a job and you work. It gives you a purpose. You have bills. You have to work. That way you have some distraction. Hit the gym. That's some distraction when you get home. If you feel sad because you're lonely, then hit the gym. At least you might find someone there, like another person that is working out, and you guys find something in common. It could be another girl or a friend. Don't go to the gym seeking a woman. Go to the gym seeking a good workout, and if it so happens and you meet someone that could be a potential friend or even a girlfriend, you get lucky. But you go to the gym for yourself. Always do everything for yourself. In the beginning, you think about yourself until everything starts coming in. Because the thing is, like, if you go to the gym seeking a friendship or a girlfriend, then you're going for the wrong reason. Go to fix yourself, to make yourself better. Go to work to make yourself better. Save your money. Don't spend it on garbage. Save your money. Spend it on what you really need to progress and build. If you could buy a house, go try for that. I know houses right now, the prices are too high. Then don't try to buy a house yet. Save. Hopefully the housing price will crash, and then buy a house then. Just be smart, invest, do some investment, and then just keep working on yourself. If you're lonely, again, find distraction, play some video games, and then just focus again on yourself and keep moving forward. Eventually, more people will come into your life, and people that want to be in your life. Because if you go seeking, you might end up bringing in people that don't want to be in your life and are just going to be there to make your life harder. Because they're like easy come, easy go. When they leave, then you're going to struggle because they left, and then the loneliness, no. Endure the loneliness, just be strong, and just keep moving forward. And by that, it's just keep getting distractions. But all these distractions are distractions that will help you grow. Video game is not a good distraction in a sense, because video game doesn't help you grow per se, because it's just entertainment. But you do need to add some entertainment into your life. Your life cannot just be working out, and everything is about growing. No, you could add some video game to your life, and or watching some people on YouTube or whatever to for entertainment. But limit that. Don't make that bigger than your work, school, and workout. No, focus on yourself more. If you could focus like 70 or 80% on yourself and only have 20% for entertainment, that would be the best way. And it's baby steps. You don't have to do it right away, tomorrow, boom. No, you take it, you try until you make it into a routine. And then it becomes just, after it's a routine, that just becomes a way of life. It's a lifestyle. That's the best advice I could give young men, and maybe even people around my age that might be suffering from loneliness. And if you guys ever need to talk, hey, I doubt, I'll be able to help much, but I can try to help as much as I can. I always talking shit, so maybe that'll make you, help a little bit. And I always try to give advice, like if I'm giving advice to my kids. So, and I got a lot of advices when I was younger by older people. And that's kind of like led me to be the way I am. It's not like I didn't magically become the way I am because of sheer willpower. No, I had a lot of people in my life that were older. I also learned a lot from experience. Like, even though something doesn't happen to me directly, I always observe what happens to other people around me, or even something I'm watching, and I learn from those experiences. And that's what we should all try to do. It's not always easy, but it's something that will help if you can learn from others' experience, because you don't have to go through it to learn a valuable lesson from it. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on. It's already an hour and like 30 minutes. I'll probably clip some stuff, but it's gonna still be close to an hour and 30 minutes. I would say, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Let me know if you guys are actually, suffering from the loneliness epidemic, and just, if you know people around you that are like struggling, I would say, try to be there as much as you can. Like, I know we are all busy, we all have a lot of stuff to do with our life, but you try to be there as much as you can, and just give them the best advice. A lot of times I'll tell you, this happened to me. I'll give good advice and it gets ignored, and I become the bad person. And it is what it is. If you become the bad person for giving good advice, it is what it is. But you're there. Eventually, when they're down on their feet, or on their knee, eventually whatever you said that were good advice will eventually resonate. But in the end of the day, the best way to help is to be there and try to give good advice. You can't do the work for them. You cannot do the work for anyone. You have to help them realize, how to basically work for themselves. And that's it. I don't know what else to say. Check out Shoot Ahead again, and check out her video. And I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Love you guys, and Super Sin Gang. We're out.